There is one number on your Whoop, your Oura ring or your Apple Watch that predicts how long you will live more accurately than your blood pressure, more accurately than your cholesterol, and more accurately than your resting heart rate. And the men in this audience, the ones running companies, leading teams, performing at the top of their fields, almost all have it sitting in the wrong direction. Today, I am going to tell you what that number is, why yours is probably worse than your assistant's, and what to actually do about it in the next 90 days. Quick word before we go in. If you are a man in your 40s, 50s or early 60s running a demanding career, subscribe. This channel is built for you. And the free executive longevity scorecard in the description gives you a personalized PDF report on the 6 pillars, including stress and recovery. 8 minutes free. Link is in the description. Now, HRV. Heart rate variability. HRV. In plain language, it is the millisecond level variation between consecutive heartbeats. And here is the part that surprises most people. A healthy nervous system produces a more variable heartbeat at rest, not a more regular one. High HRV reflects a parasympathetic nervous system that is doing its job. The parasympathetic branch is the brake on the executive accelerator. It is what allows you to recover, to sleep deeply, to digest properly, to reset between meetings. Low HRV means that brake is worn down. Your nervous system has been pressing the accelerator for so long that the recovery system has lost its responsiveness. And that is a state most high-performing men have been living in for years without naming it. Now, if you are listening to this and you train, you sleep enough most nights, you watch what you eat, you might be thinking, my HRV should be fine. I am fit. I look after myself. Here is what I see in clinic. That is not how HRV works. HRV is not dominated by fitness. It is dominated by autonomic load. And in this population, 3 things suppress it specifically. Number 1, chronic alcohol use, even at what most men would call moderate levels. 3 or 4 drinks a week, 4 nights a week, is enough to flatten HRV in almost every case I see. Number 2, late evening eating, the last meal pressed up against bedtime. Your nervous system cannot drop into parasympathetic recovery while your gut is still working. Number 3, unmanaged psychological load, the always-on cognition that comes with running things. The Slack notifications at 10 at night, the mental rehearsal of tomorrow's calls while you are trying to fall asleep. And here is the pattern. A 50-year-old executive with a cleaner autonomic life will routinely show better HRV than a 35-year-old who trains harder, eats cleaner in macro terms, but drinks 4 nights a week and answers email at midnight. It is not about the gym, it is about the break. Here is the part where most men using a wearable are reading the data backwards. The number on your wrist that matters is not the daily HRV score. Daily HRV is noisy. It is platform specific. Whoop normalizes differently to Oura, which normalizes differently to Apple Watch. Comparing your Whoop number to your friend's Oura number is meaningless. Comparing your Whoop number on Tuesday to your Whoop number on Wednesday is barely meaningful. What matters is the 30-day rolling baseline trend. Up over 30 days means you are recovering. Flat means you are sustaining. Down means you are compounding load. That is the only HRV number worth acting on. So practical reframe. Stop checking your HRV every morning. Stop letting a poor overnight number ruin your day. Check the trend monthly. Look for direction. That is the signal. Everything else is noise. This one shift by itself changes the relationship most executives have with their wearable, from a daily judgment to a monthly compass. Now to what to do about it. 4 interventions in order of HRV impact, largest first based on what I see clinically. Number 1, alcohol. 3 or fewer drinks per week. None after 8 in the evening. This is the single largest mover. I have lost count of the number of executives whose HRV stepped up by 10 to 15% inside 10 days simply by cutting back to 3 drinks a week. Alcohol does to your autonomic nervous system what shouting does to your voice. It works for a while, then it does not. Number 2, last meal 3 hours before bed. Late eating suppresses overnight parasympathetic recovery. If your last food is at 10 and you are in bed at 11, you are asking your nervous system to do 2 jobs at once. It will fail at both. Reliable HRV gain inside 2 weeks of fixing this. Number 3, 5 minutes of slow nasal breathing before sleep. 6 breaths per minute, free. No equipment, no app. In through the nose, slowly, for 5 seconds. Out for 5 seconds. 5 minutes of that every night before sleep measurably shifts vagal tone over a few weeks. Pronunciation note, vagal =VHG, goal. 3 sessions of 45 minutes per week. Builds parasympathetic capacity. The slowest of the 4 to move HRV. The most durable structurally of the 4. If you watched my recent video on the 3 modalities, this is the same Zone 2 prescription. Apply these 4 with reasonable consistency. In 90 days, an executive can move their 30-day HRV baseline by 15 to 25%. That is clinically significant. That is a different nervous system. Why does this matter at all? Because HRV is a leading indicator. By the time your blood pressure shifts, by the time your fasting glucose creeps up, by the time your ApoB starts climbing, the autonomic damage has been compounding for years. HRV gives you 12 to 24 months of warning before any of those numbers move. The men who pay attention to HRV in their 40s are the men who very often avoid the cardiac and cognitive events in their 60s. That is the value of a leading indicator. It tells you what is coming while you can still change what is coming. If you want to know where stress and recovery sit relative to the other 5 pillars in your own picture, the Executive Longevity Scorecard in the description gives you a personalized PDF report in 8 minutes. It is free. The link is below this video and pinned in the first comment. I will see you on Tuesday.